Do want to get into some of the other headlines here that we are following. A suspect in a violent kidnapping in Oregon died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound after being taken into custody following a standoff with law enforcement. That is according to police in Grants Pass. A lot to this story. So to help break it down, I do want to bring in Dan Springer with Fox News, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this. Dan, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, hey Josh.
Yeah, a very interesting story here with a lot of different twists and turns, and that manhunt, as I mentioned, now over.
Yeah, what makes this case and this story so bizarre is how it ended. Because Benjamin Foster was the subject of a nationwide manhunt ever since last Tuesday, when police discovered that there was a woman beaten inside of her home in Grants Pass, Oregon, nearly to death. A friend of the victims came over and he identified Foster as the guy who was leaving and had just beaten up this woman. And so that touched off this manhunt, which spread out across the country. Really, the FBI got involved, the Oregon State Patrol got involved, and of course Grants Pass, which is down in southern Oregon. They were all looking for Foster for a week. They did find his car, and they arrested a woman about an hour away from his home who was aiding and abetting him. So they were hot on his trail, but they said that he may have changed his appearance. They were saying that he, may be looking on dating apps and looking for other victims. But where they found him ultimately was in the neighborhood where this assault took place a week ago. They found him, somebody saw him walking his dog in the neighborhood where the assault took place. Police were called. They surrounded the house actually where the assault took place and found him in the crawl space underneath that house. That touched off an hours-long standoff that lasted throughout much of the day yesterday, and ultimately Foster shot and killed himself as he was surrounded by police under the house where that assault took place. Josh?
And so there's still a lot left to figure out here. I do know that police there are expecting to hold a news conference at some point today where we could learn a little bit more about this because, you have a lot of details, of course, but there is still so much that we need to learn.
Well, I mean, they were thinking that he could have been anywhere across the country, that he may have changed his appearance. They were saying that people should look at his facial features because his hair probably had changed. He probably had shaved off his beard. So they were very keen on finding him. They brought in the FBI, as I said, and they really wanted to get him in custody as quickly as possible because he had done something like this before. He was actually charged and convicted twice in Clark County, Nevada, on similar domestic violence assaults. In one, he nearly killed a woman who he had been dating and held her captive in her place for 2 weeks. She had multiple broken bones, a broken neck, and so she was very beat up. And for that, he only got 2.5 years after a plea bargain agreement. And the police chief in Grants Pass was very upset that this guy was out and able to do this again. Because of that very serious case down in Clark County where he was able to plead down his 5 felony counts just down to 1. Josh?
I mean, that's crazy to hear. All right, Dan Springer there with Fox News. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us this case as it does continue to develop there.
You got it.